How about publish or perish? What prompted you to create that software?
Again, very pragmatic reason. I put in promotion application for full professor in Australia, University of Melbourne. That was in 2005. And my application was turned down. That was not unusual. It happened to many of us. But one of the reasons why it was turned down is that the committee felt I hadn't published enough in A journals, what the A journals were in that university. And then I said, well, that's maybe true, but I've published in international business journals and my work has had quite a bit of impact in terms of citations to my work. And I think that's also important. And yes, they did acknowledge that, but unfortunately at that time, international business journals, many of them had only been listed in the Web of Science quite recently. JIPS had been listed for quite a while, but some other journals had been listed fairly recently. So citations in the Web of Science weren't very high, but citations in Google Scholar were very high to my work. But then it was really difficult to establish that conclusively because Google Scholar wasn't really very user-friendly. It had only been just introduced. You could search for it, but you would get a whole flurry of information, no metrics like you would get in the Web of Science. So indeed, as Vas said, my husband is a software engineer. He completed a PhD in operations research, but decided academia wasn't for him. So he has been a software engineer since, and he said, well, I can actually design a program for you that calculates citation metrics based on Google Scholar data. So that's what he did in 2006. I applied again, showing that my citations and H-index were actually as high or higher as those of current professors, and obviously they couldn't refuse me promotion anymore. So I thought, well, helps for me, so it might help other people as well. So put that on my website as well. So again, very pragmatic reason.
How about publish or perish?
That's a completely different order of magnitude, I would say. Publish or perish, first of all, is used by a lot more people than the journal quality lists. Again, we don't actually track use because that's kind of against our philosophy, but based on downloads and visits to my website and the download page, I would estimate anywhere between 700,000 and 1 million. So that's substantially more than the journal quality list, and obviously it's in a broader field because the journal quality list is economics and business. Publish or perish isn't limited to a particular field. So there's academics from all sorts of different disciplines. So there's a lot more users. That said, the actual development, as I said, is done by my husband. So it takes him a lot of time, but it doesn't take me a lot of time. And he is kind enough to let me take the credit for the work by being the face, the public face of Publish or Perish. But with software, anyone who's ever developed any software will know that a lot of the work is in user support. Because whenever you get a large number of people using software, you get people who have no clue what to do with it, but still want to use it, and they write to you and ask for support. Obviously, you try and prevent that by providing resources to support users. I've written a book called the Publish or Perish book in 2010, which basically gives a bit of the background of research evaluation, but also very detailed information on how to use the software. That's been used quite a bit, but again, by a small proportion of the users. I've also done a tutorial, both in book form and online. And obviously there's a help file, like with any piece of software, there's a help file, but be honest, with the other software you use, how often do you actually look at a help file? Most people don't really. They try to figure it out themselves. So this